Dainyana Vinamagnoham Chaitanya Vaidyamasare. Wow. Kaviraj Goswami. At the beginning of every chapter he makes one verse. I'm infected by the germs of material activity. I am suffering from the boils of envy. Therefore, following the ocean of humility, I take shelter of the great doctor, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Devotees' minds always astonish me. So, one day, the great devotee, also he's known as Narasingha Brahmachari, he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a desire, and he said, Sunu Prabhu Muidin Grihastadam Kun Bhagya Punachari Tumadulab Charan. He said, I am a cripple-minded householder, a materialist, most fallen of men. But by good fortune I have achieved the shelter of your lotus feet, which are very hard to achieve. I wish to hear topics of Lord Krishna. Please be merciful to and explain something to me. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I don't know anything about Krishna. If you want to know anything about Krishna, you have to go to Ramananda Roy. Because whatever katha about Krishna I can speak, I heard from him. You are very fortunate you have desire to hear. The best course for you would go to Ramananda Roy and hear topics of Krishna from him. Dharma svanustata pumsam visvaksenu kathasyat narutpate yati ratim shramasya. Any activity we perform which does not help increase our desire to hear Harikatha, that is useless activity. For example, why are we doing catering and green smoothies? We're doing that just to give others also a chance to hear. No temple, then how people can hear Harikatha? So, Pradyumna Mishra, being advised by the Lord, he went to see the great devotee Ramananda Roy. When he went to Ramananda Roy, then the servant said, now you cannot meet him, he is busy. So Pradyumna Mishra asked, what is he doing? Duidev Kanyahoi Paramasundari Nityagit Sunipun Vayasa Kishori. Ramananda Roy was a great poet. He was writing one drama about Jagannath that is called Jagannath Bala Natu. So Ramananda Roy was just writing one drama. So in the drama there were some dancing scenes. So he was teaching two young girls how to dance. Therefore, in a garden, in a solitary place, he is teaching and directing these young girls how to dance according to the ecstasies described in his drama. Please wait here for a few minutes. Thus, while Pradyumna Mishra was sitting and waiting, Ramananda Roy took the two young girls to a solitary place. With his own hands, Swahaste Korintar Abhyanga Madam, Swahaste Karamsnan Gatra Samajam. With his own hands, Ramananda Roy was massaging the bodies of the young girls with oil, and he was bathing them. Indeed, Ramananda Roy was cleansing their bodies with his own hands. He also addressed the two young girls. And even though he was touching the young girls' bodies in the solitary place, his mind remained completely unchanged. Such is the mind of Ramananda Roy. Therefore, Kasta Pasan Spas Hoi Yoiche Bhav Taruni Spas Ramanande Toiche Swabhav. While touching the young girls, it was like a person touching wood or stone. His body and mind had no transformation. So you can imagine what an exalted person he was. Why? Because Sri Ramananda Roy was not thinking, I am a man, these are two young girls. He was thinking, I am Vishaka Saki, the maidservant of Radharani. So, although externally he appeared to be a man, internally, in his original spiritual position, he was a Brajagopi. He considered himself a maidservant. He considered himself a gopi, and he considered these two young girls to be gopis. Therefore, Mahaprabhu Bhakta Gane Durgam Mahima Tahi Ramanande Bhav Bhakti Premasima. It is very difficult to understand the greatness of the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And indeed, amongst all the devotees of Ramananda, of all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Roy is the topmost. For he showed this topmost limit of devotion. Okay, Sita? This is devotion. Even though he was touching young girls, massaging them, bathing them, that means everything he was seeing, but still there was no transformation, no lust. Like if you touch stone, no one feels lust. Unless you're having a really bad day. Someone who touches wood and stone feels no lust. Ramananda Roy, despite touching the bodies of the young girls, like he was touching wood or stone. So this is our measurement of how much we're progressing in the spiritual life. How much we become free from lust. And that much we're engaged in the service of Guru and Gauranga, Radha Krishna, that much we'll be free from lust, not more, not less. That's because in the drama, actually it was very interesting, we went to Turkey, and there was one lady from Poland, she came with us for the whole tour, she was doing dancing performances. So their Odissi dance, really I was not remembering this, but some remembrance was there. How by eyes, by hands the gopis express their devotion and love and affection for Krishna. So Odissi dance originally comes from Odisha. So everything there is in the mood expression of the ecstasies of the gopis. So Ramananda Roy was teaching the girls, in this part of the drama you do your eyes like this, you put your hands like this, your body like this. Thus, he taught them how to express the ecstasies, how to express the symptoms of continuous natural and transitional ecstasies. Three types: Sanchari, Sattvic, and Sthai Bhav. If you want to hear the explanation now. Sanchari Bhav means that which follows Suddha Sattva. In normal day English we'll say the divine potency is called Suddha Sattva, spiritual existence. So when that enters someone's heart, then the emotions which follow that pure state is called Sanchari Bhav. Sanchari means to empower. Right? For example, there are 13 Sanchari Bhavs, if I'm not mistaken, dancing. When this Suddha Sattva, pure devotion, enters the heart, then one dances. There is also singing, loud roaring, rolling on the ground. 13. These are called Sanchari Bhavs. Sattvic Bhavs means when that Suddha Sattva mixes with the elements of the body, it produces 8 transformations. For example, our material bodies are made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So when this Suddha Sattva, we'll say Bhakti, enters the heart, and when it touches the element of water in the body, then the devotee weeps. When it touches the element of air in the body, the voice becomes choked, the body horripilates, the hairs of the body stand on end. When it touches the earth element in the body, then the Vaishnava becomes stunned. What else is there? Fire. When the Suddha Sattva touches the fire element in the body, the devotee changes colour and perspires. So, Ramananda Roy was, you can imagine, how you can teach all these things unless you have personal experience. Was Vishaka Saki, she knows all these things perfectly. And Sthai Bhav means the ecstatic permanent emotion. That is 5. Santaras, neutral mood, Dasya, servitude, Sakya, friendship for Krishna, Vatsalya, parental affection towards Krishna, and Madhuraras, conjugal attraction towards Krishna. Ramananda Roy was teaching them the symptoms of all these things. Mukh netri abhinay koi prakartan. He was showing them how to express these ecstasies by their expressions, by their eyes, and by other parts of their bodies. Therefore, and being taught by Ramananda Roy all these ecstasies, the girls would perform the dance and the drama in front of the deity of Jagannath for the happiness of the deity. That is one speciality of Gurudev also. Always Gurudev would be some drama. Always he would ask, I want some drama, some drama. It's also one Vaishnava art. Singing, musical instruments, speaking, cooking, drama. What laughing? You didn't see that horrible picture on Facebook, did you? A few years ago someone talked me into doing a drama. I'm still regretting it. Someone posted those photos on Facebook yesterday. Huh? Lucky. So, see, Ramananda Rai, he fed the girls very nice prasad and sent them home. Unexplored. He covered them with proper cloth and sent them home. So, every day he was training these two young girls how to dance. Then, Pratidin Royachi Kore Sadan. Every day he would be absorbed in this. Konjan Sudadev Kahatarman. How the filthy living entities in this world can understand his purity. How can the small living entities, their minds always absorbed in material sense gratification, understand the mentality of a great devotee like Ramananda Roy? So, it must be Pradyumna Mishra, when he saw this, some doubt was there. This is illegal for a normal person. Even it says mantra sparsha. In Bhagavatam it says one should not even sit on the same seat as your mother or your sister. Why the senses are so powerful? Anything may happen at any time. Therefore Scripture strictly forbids a man to be alone with a woman in his room. You should not even sit on the same seat as your mother and sister. Therefore, who in this world will understand the greatness of a perfect devotee like Ramananda Roy, who is touching all the parts of the bodies of a young girl and feeling no loss, no transformation? So, after the dancing was finished, the girls were fed and sent home. Then Ramananda Roy came to Pradyumna Mishra and bowed. My dear sir, I'm very sorry. I was busy. Please tell me, what can I do? I am your servant. Then Pradyumna Mishra, it was very late. Therefore he said, I'm busy. Oh, I don't want to take your time. He left and went back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Pradyumna Mishra came to the Lord, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, did you hear Harikatha from Ramananda Roy? Then Pradyumna Mishra began describing the activities of Ramananda Roy. And Mahaprabhu said, Amitu Sannyasi, Apanari Virakta Korimani, Darshan Rahuduri Prakriti Ranama Yadisuni, Tabahu Vikar Pai Mauratanuman, Prakriti Darshan Stir Hoy Konajan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I am a sannyasi. One who wears red cloth, no intimate connection with a woman, that is completely forbidden. Amitu sannyasi, Mahaprabhu said, I am a sannyasi. Everyone considers me to be detached and renounced. However, when I hear the name of a woman, my mind becomes disturbed. I feel changes in my mind and body. What to speak of seeing a woman, if I just hear the name of a woman, I feel disturbed. The person in this world who can remain undisturbed by the sight of a woman, that person is very rare in this world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how humble. Even I feel disturbed, I hear the name of a woman. The Ramananda Roy is touching young girls. He is not disturbed. This is an astonishing thing. Those two young girls are beautiful and very young. Yet Sri Ramananda Roy personally massages their entire bodies with oil. He baths them and dresses them and decorates them with ornament. Thus naturally he sees and touches all parts of their body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Nevertheless, the mind of Ramananda Roy never changes. Although he teaches the girls how to physically express all their ecstasies. Nirvika dehaman kosta pasansam aishchada tarun spasi nirvikaraman. His mind is as steady as wood or stone. Probably better not to know. His mind is as steady as wood or stone. It is wonderful that he feels no transformations of lust. Ek Ramananda Roy e Harika. In this creation, only Ramananda Roy has the qualifications for such activities, no one else. Thus I can understand his body is completely spiritual. Okay? How we can understand we're spiritually advanced? It's not rocket science. The body feels no attraction towards the material elements. Like we put iron into fire, the qualities of fire enter into iron. So in the same way, by dedicating ourselves completely to the feet of Gurudev, Shiksha Guru, Radha Krishna, Caitanya-Caritamrta, completely dedicating ourselves to devotion, what will happen? Damana Priya? Bhakti will come in us. That means this material body becomes spiritualized. And when you've got a spiritualized body, what will happen, Sita? No more lust. So this is the examination, the test. We can take our own pulse and understand how much we are advancing. Therefore, Srila Puri used to say, how we know if we're qualified to read the higher subject matters of Radha Krishna's intimate pastimes. But he said God gave all of us an alarm clock. Well, he gave men an alarm clock. So when you're reading and you're feeling lust and disturbance and the alarm clock begins ringing, that means I am not qualified for this topic. You should close and go to somewhere else. There in the beginning it's recommended one should simply chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By chanting the holy name, by serving Gurudev and Vaishnavas, by following a courtesy, by engaging ourselves in the limbs of devotion, this body will become spiritualized. This body will never become spiritual. This body is made of stool and urine. This body will never become Sachidananda. This body may become Sachidananda Moy. This body may become spiritualized, but this body will never become spiritual. That is the difference. Like we offer rice and dal to Krishna. We offer pizza to Krishna. Pizza is a material thing. But by offering it to Krishna, by the touch of Krishna, it becomes spiritualized. The same way this material body, in the same way offered to Guru and Krishna, also becomes spiritualized. Therefore we should avoid things which check that process. We should not eat things outside which are not offered to Krishna. No? Onions, of course. Onions, garlic, these things. No? And then even food which is vegetarian, which is not cooked for Krishna and offered to Krishna, we should not touch. Why? That means the material qualities will come in the body again, and you'll experience so much lust and anger and greed. Last night we had a good example. Why anger and greed is still in devotees? They are not following the process properly. Therefore, material tendencies are still in their body. So, the body of a perfected devotee is never to be considered material. If you consider their body to be material, then this is one type of offense. So, who's spiritual and who's material? A very easy litmus test is given by Caitanya-Caritamrta. Therefore, only Ramananda Roy has the qualification to act like this. No one else in the world. So, Brother Baru Sange Krishna Rasadi Vilas Ye Jane Kohe Sune Kore Viswas Ridro Kamtar Te Kare Hoi Ksai Tinguna Sob Nahi Mahadir Hoy Vikreditam Rajavaduvetam Shavishnu Saranvatadanu Shunayata Tadvanayadva Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Patilubde Kama Rigro Asri Apravanoti Achire Nadira. So lust is our greatest enemy. Krishna says, it is lust. Arjuna asks why we are forced to commit acts despite our desire. We don't want to do something, but we are impelled. What is the cause of that? Krishna says, O Arjuna, it is lust only, which covers the knowledge of the soul. Like a smoke covers fire, like dust covers a mirror, and like the embryo is covered by the womb. If a smoke is covered by fire, you can still cook on it. So that means human being. Human being lust is there, but still we can perform hearing and chanting and perform the limbs of devotion. But it's not completely pure. It's not like a blazing fire. That means us in our present condition. The nature of the soul is manifest. Therefore we can perform activities like hearing and chanting and remembering, but not fully blazing. Some smoke is there. Means lust is there, but it's not covering completely the nature of the soul. That means human being who is now in this process of sadhan bhajan, chanting the holy name, remembering. Okay? It's like a dust, a mirror covered by dust. The mirror is not functioning. Dinabandhu, is it still functioning? It's not functioning. He was completely gone. Not functioning. We're talking about not functioning. So the mirror covered by dust, the mirror does not function. You cannot see yourself. Some human beings are so much covered by lust, their nature is completely covered. Right? We see in this world. And some souls so much covered by lust, their inherent nature is completely covered, like an embryo covered by the womb. If a woman is pregnant, you cannot, that is a boy or a girl, you cannot see it. So somebody when is so much covered by lust, their nature is completely covered. Like other species of life, birds, beasts, trees. So, how to become free from this lust? So Sukadeva Goswami gives this medicine. Vikriditi Brajabadule Tamsa Vishnu. One should hear of Krishna's Vishnu, Krishna's pastimes of the Braja Gopis. How? Shraddhanvito. One should hear with great faith. Means, Guruji would explain, that faith is with complete what English is saying? One should be completely with complete faith. He should understand these pastimes are not material. They were hearing with this faith, this pastime with Radha Krishna is not like Romeo and Juliet or anything we see in this world. That is the faith. These pastimes are completely transcendental. And one who hears and then speaks very carefully these pastimes, he becomes free from lust. Bhakti param bhagavati patilupta karma. One who hears with this type of faith, that devotion will enter the heart, and that devotion will dispel all type of lust. Ridroga. Ridroga means the heart disease. Achareta dira. That person is called dira or very sober. Means we should hear from someone who is dira. Rupa Goswami said, what is Rupa Goswami's definition of dira in Upadeshamrita? Vacho Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara, Upasa Vegam, Etan Vegam, Yo Visuhetu Dira. What is the definition Rupa Goswami gives of Dira? Dira means a sober person. A person who controls his speech, Vach. Manasa, the mind. Krodha, anger. Jiva Vegam, the tongue. Udara, the stomach, and the genitals. One who completely controls these 6 forces, that person is dira. We should hear from someone like that. Otherwise we hear from someone who's full of opposite qualities. What will hear? What will happen to us? When we're hearing from them, what will happen? All their bad qualities will come on us. So, this is the medicine for heart disease, but that medicine should be given by an expert doctor. Right, Dinabandhu? Put them in and straight. Don't pretend you're listening. Medicine should be given by an expert doctor. For example, we go to the doctor with some disease, kidney disease, something. The doctor gives us a bottle of pills. Okay, take 2 a day after meals. That is the medicine given by the expert doctor. And the patient, he does not listen to the direction, he goes home, what does he do? He takes the whole bottle at once. What will happen to him? That same medicine which is a cure of his disease will kill him. In the same way, these very high topics of Radha Krishna, when heard in an unregulated way, from an unqualified person, the opposite effect will be there. Instead of curing you from the disease of lust, it will cause lust to awaken in the heart. So how much we should be careful. And we have seen all the Rasik acharyas in our Sangha, always speaking very exalted topics. What happens? They fall in love with some girl falls in love with some boy, and they perform their own Rasila, no? So, this Rasila is the medicine, but it should be heard from a qualified doctor. Like Gurudev, when he would explain these, actually everyone would always criticize Narayan Maharaj is always speaking very high topics, and I'm like, oh really? I never heard them in 15 years. I never heard Gurudev speaking about what Radha Krishna do when they're alone. Gurudev would never mention it. This is very wrong propaganda they are making. Because doctor knows how much medicine to give to the patient. So an expert Gaudiya Vaishnava, they will explain these topics in such a way the audience will never have any misconception or they will never feel disturbed. Because expert doctor. So expert doctor, proper medicine, then the patient becomes cured. And what's the qualification of the patient? Full faith. Full faith in the speaker, also full faith in the topics. So qualification should be there in the doctor, qualification should be there in the patient. So, Mahaprabhu said, this is the medicine for becoming free from lust. So, Mahaprabhu said, here, it's only 2 lines of Bengali, but Prabhupada gives like a 10-line translation. Esuni equare tar fal etadesi sebala vistaye seva anishi tar fal ki kohimo kahananayai nitya siddhase pray shidha tar kai. Understand, Kunwata? Huh? Her Bengali is a little weak. If a transcendentally situated, maybe my pronunciation is a little weak also. If a transcendentally situated person, following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, hears and speaks about the Ras Lila of Radha Krishna, always being absorbed in their thoughts, while serving them day and night within his mind, what is the result? The result is so spiritually exalted it cannot be expressed. Such a person is an eternally liberated associate of the Supreme Lord. His body is completely spiritualized. Although he is visible to materialize, he is spiritually situated, and all his activities are spiritual. By the will of Krishna, such a devotee is understood to possess a spiritual body. Raganugamag jani rayara bhajan siddhadeya tulya tate prakrita nahiman. Ramananda Roy is situated in the path of spontaneous love of Krishna. Therefore, he is in his spiritual body. His mind is not affected by matter. I also hear topics about Krishna from Ramananda Roy. If you want to hear such topics, go to him again. It could be Prajuna Mishra has some doubt. And how doubt is dispelled? That doubt is dispelled by another Vaishnava. Who can understand the activities of a high-class devotee? Not so easy to understand. Therefore, Vaishnav Chiniti Deva Nasakati. Even the demigods cannot understand the characteristics and the activities of a perfected Vaishnava. Next time you go, you say my name. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent me. Go now. Prajumna Mishra hastily went again to Ramananda Roy. And this time he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has sent me to hear topics about Lord Krishna from you. As soon as Ramananda Roy said, oh, the Lord has ordered me, in great happiness he began speaking Krishna Katha. Thus, what topics you want to hear? I want to hear the same topics you spoke to the Lord in Kuveri. Thus Ramananda Roy began speaking. He began speaking like a madman. In fact, at the end, he was asking questions of himself and giving his own answer. That much he was absorbed. Thus night time came. And the servants were coming again and again, please Maharaj, you come and take your prasad, please come and take your prasad. Thus, the speaker and the listener both were absorbed in ecstatic love. How could they know where time was going? Thus, returning home, Prajumna Mishra bathed, took his meal. In the evening, late night, he went to see Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu asked, have you heard topics of Krishna from Ramananda Roy? Prajumna Mishra, weeping, he said, you have made me very obliged to you. You have drowned me in Krishna Katha, topics of Krishna. I cannot properly describe the discourse of Ramananda Roy. He is not an ordinary human being. He is fully absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord. What I have heard from Ramananda Roy is like a ocean of nectar. Even the demigods, beginning with Lord Brahma, cannot understand what he was talking about. You are very kind because you made me drink this nectar of Krishna Katha. Therefore I sell myself to your lotus feet life after life. Go Premanandi. Therefore, to vanquish the pride of the non-material, of the materialistic personalities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested different facets of devotion through his different devotees. Not just here. Ramananda Roy was a grihastha, married man, born in a low family. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself accepted him as Guru and heard from him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the glories of the holy name through the Muslim Haridas Thakur. Similarly, he exhibited the science of devotion through the mouth of Sanatana Goswami. Last night we heard. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested the love of Radha Krishna through Rupa Goswami. Say Chaitanya Lile Amrita Sindhu Tri Jagat Bashite Par Yahare Kabindu. The activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are just like an ocean of nectar. Even a drop of this ocean can drown the three worlds. Therefore, Caitanya-Caritamrta Nitya Koripan Yahwete Premananda Bhakti Tattva Jnana. O devotees, daily relish this Caitanya-Caritamrta and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By doing so, you will taste the nectar of pure love for Krishna, you will drown the ocean of prema, and you will achieve full knowledge of the science of devotion. Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. Caitanya-Caritamrta ki jai. So, can you turn this off? No. So, I thought we'd have a little meeting. Good idea, right? There's Omkar. He's there.